Welcome to the Wayne Bennett Podcast, celebrating West Virginia's people, places, and the culture of Southern Appalachia. Now here's your host, Wayne Bennett.
Welcome to our podcast. This is Wayne Bennett, and this is episode number 26. And we are celebrating 6 months of broadcasting. And we've kind of done a recap last week, and we're going to finish that up today. How we started the podcast was sitting around one day, and I said, I don't really have a radio voice like a lot of people do, and I don't really have the quick wit that some of my friends do. Really don't have any swag as far as that's concerned, and very little technical knowledge. And I said, hey, man, let's start a podcast. And so we did, and my wife is better than I am on the technical part. And so we're getting through. We're making some improvements. We're on Facebook now. Check us out on Facebook, and we'll have some information, some pictures of people that have been on our show. We'll have surveys in the future, kind of let you know what to expect. And we'll get after it the second part of the year. But our 11th episode, we followed up with the first 10 last week. Our 11th episode, I took a moment and talked about having a colonostomy. And if you're over 50, and if you've never had one, you need to do that. Saved my life. I had cancer about 22 years ago, and I have had friends that have died with colon cancer. They call it a silent killer because sometimes there's no symptoms. And so I suggest that if you've had any kind of history of colon cancer, you need to do it immediately, regardless of how old you are. And it may be the life that you save is your own. But episode number 12 was special. I had my buddy Eric Fritz. He come over, and Eric lives around the Sophia area. He grew up, went to Sophia High School, and he's had several books that he's released on Sophia history, sports history. I think he's had about 5 books, and a lot about the old Sophia High School, and pictures. I mean, it's done hours and hours and hours of work in his effort on these books, and they're still out there. You can reach Eric Fritz. He's in the phone book, actually. But another thing that Eric had done, he kind of spearheaded a fundraiser and an idea to put another monument in Sophia, in the town of Sophia, beside the Korean War monument, and honoring 6 people that had attended Sophia schools that had died in some type of conflict. And so he, along with a few other people, raised some money. They put a beautiful monument in the town of Sophia, and along with that, they decided to. The Board of Education gave the town of Sophia the old Soap Creek Elementary, and they gave the old Sophia High School alumni 2 rooms to put memorabilia and those kind of things from the old Sophia High School and use it as a museum of sort. And so Eric and Clayton Terry and John Collins and Roger Butterworth and Jamie Hughes, those are just a few of the guys that come to my mind. They were all worked there cleaning and painting and collecting from different graduates of Sophia High School and Sophia Junior High. And really, my wife and I got to visit before they had the grand opening, and it was really nice. And a lot of the pictures and a lot of the old sweaters and trophies and things that was dear to people that graduate from that area. Now, I'm not from Sophia, but I did have a connection there. I worked in the early 70s at Sophia Elementary under Paul Craighead. He was the principal at that time, and I worked there about a year and a half, coached 6th grade basketball, and I can't remember all the guys I had on the team, but Richard Blackburn, Dwayne Martin, I had a Klein boy, a couple of Tillies. Those guys were pretty good ball players. In spite of my coaching, they won quite a few games too. But the people from Sophia treated me really good, and so I've always had an interest in that area. On Memorial Day weekend, they were on that Saturday. They had a dedication of the monument, and my wife and I went to that, and we had the families of the 6 men that had passed away in different conflicts, and John Collins was the host and MC. Did a great job talking about each individual and how they went about collecting money and coming up with the idea and the help that the town council of Sophia had given him. And it was a beautiful, beautiful, touching ceremony. You had a man by the name of Mike Wills, soldier, who sang the national anthem and God Bless America, and played the trumpet, played taps on the trumpet. And I mean, my gosh, what a talented person he was. And the members of the families got to come up and orate or talk about what it meant to them, and it was really heartwarming. And even though it was a sad occasion that their loved ones had passed away, it was truly something that will continue to honor these men who give their life for our freedom. And come away from it, and at the end, Christina Crouch got to sing the old Sophia alma mater or fight song or whatever it was, and it just gave you a really warm feeling. Good things happen. So my congratulations to those guys and Eric Fritz for kind of spearheading the idea and the fundraising, and great for the town of Sophia, great for the Southern West Virginia, and surely great for those families. And the next episode was a week before Mother's Day, and our friend Vicki Farley came over, and she and I and Diane, we sat around and we told some funny stories about our mothers, some things that had happened that would make you laugh or at least smile, and good experience. Vicki's mother is Mabel, and Diane's mom is Margaret, and my mother's name was Bessie, and we enjoyed talking about them. It was great for the program, and I kind of hopefully we got some of you thinking about your mothers and some cute stories or things that might have happened to you in the past. Here's a little song we might want to share with you.
I said, hey, Mom, chicka-boom.
I said, hey, Mom, chicka-boom.
It's Mother's Day, chicka-boom.
It's Mother's Day, chicka-boom.
It's Mother's Day, chicka-rocka, chicka-boom.
It's Mother's Day, chicka-rocka, chicka-boom.
Uh-huh.
Uh-huh.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
One more time.
One more time.
I love you style. I love you, Mom, chicka-boom.
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 I love you, Mom, chicka-rocka, chicka-boom.
I love you, Mom, chicka-rocka, chicka-boom.
Uh-huh.
Uh-huh.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
One more time.
One more time.
Hug a Mom style. Hug a Mom, chicka-boom.
Hug a Mom, chicka-boom.
Hug a Mom, chicka-boom.
Hug a Mom, chicka-boom.
Hug a Mom, chicka-rocka, chicka-boom.
Hug a Mom, chicka-rocka, chicka-boom.
Uh-huh.
Uh-huh.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
One more time.
One more time.
Pick a flower style. Pick a flower, chicka-boom.
Pick a flower, chicka-boom.
On our 14th episode, we were in Cleveland, Ohio, and staying at Dale Smith's house. And Dale used to live in the Beckley area, and this is our first time that we have attempted to broadcast on the road. And so Dale lives a pretty eclectic life. We got to spend a weekend there, and it was the weekend of Mother's Day, actually. And in Cleveland, that particular Sunday on Mother's Day, it snowed, and it was the weather was a little cold. But Dale had been an actor around Beckley, had worked in Honey and Rock, got a drama degree from West Virginia University, done several different types of worked in several different types of venues, and then he ended up in the Cleveland area. And while we were there, we got to go visit the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. We got to see the house where the Christmas Story, where it was filmed and made. Everything was really neat, and the interview turned out real good, and I learned quite a bit about some of Dale's acting and role playing jobs that he had, and hopefully he also, while he was in Cleveland, he got into politics some. He ran for kind of like city council one year. He didn't win, but he did quite well in the run, and he hasn't ruled out getting back into politics if the situation happens. Our 15th episode, Donna Reed from Delaware, originally from Beckley. We talked to her. She was quite the musician when she was younger. Excellent trumpet player. Talked about her job and travel involved. She's worked in places like Miami, Florida, and Hawaii, and she was telling us a little bit about each of the areas, and of course her work in healthcare. She's a sonographer and has been doing that for many years. We enjoyed speaking with Donna, and hope to have her back again. Our 16th episode, I talked about going to school at Morris Harvey College and graduated in 1973. From there, I had got the chance to meet Bill Withers, got the chance to meet Martin Sheen, James Dickey. All of them were at a crafts arts festival that Morris Harvey had, and these guys would come on, and James Dickey wrote the book Deliverance, which was later made into a movie with Burt Reynolds and a few other guys, and quite successful. Martin Sheen was just getting into the acting and were just becoming famous. And of course, Bill Withers had a couple big hits out at that time, but he didn't have all the Grammy Awards that he accomplished later. But really, that's something that's left an impression on me forever. And so I just talked a little bit about that. 17th episode, we had Timmy Boggs here, and we were getting close to the Gebo golf tournament at Black Knight Country Club, and Timmy had won that tournament at least at 10 times, and he's quite the area golfer, has done well. He's won some. He always finishes, most of the time he finishes near the top, and the thing, and on his regular job, he does concrete work, and he was telling us about the concrete work and trying to get out on the golf course as often as he can. And the thing about Timmy, he had an excellent radio voice. He sounded like a disc jockey, and we told some funny stories. The first time he ever won the Gebo, we had a green jacket award like the Masters, and Timmy came, we put the jacket on him, and he was kind of showing it off and everything. Well, he didn't know that we had put written "I cheated" on the back of the jacket, and everybody was laughing and congratulating him, and we finally had to tell Timmy, what was going on. But he was a good sport and a good guy to have. Like I said, he had a great radio voice, and he didn't win the Gibbo this year, but I think he was around sixth place. Did well. Our 18th episode, we had Ryan Neal, and Ryan was a former athlete, wrestled for me a little bit, and known him for years, good friend, quite the businessman. He's been in a lot of different venues, did several different things, but he is co-owner of the West Virginia Beef Jerky Outlets, and they're doing quite well in Beckley, Lewisburg, Charleston, thinking about expanding to the northern part of the state here soon. And Ryan talked about growing up in Beckley and playing baseball and little league sports and those kind of things, and what all it meant to him. And he also has helped give back to the community, and he is one of the co-directors of the Mountain State Golf Classic. And this year, I think they had 124 golfers, and they usually, the money they make off of the tournament, they will donate to a certain charity that particular year. This year, I think it was Senior Friends at the Raleigh General Hospital. They've donated to the Alzheimer's charity group before. So it's really a good thing. Plus, the guys can play 3 days of golf. Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. I think one day they're at Grandview, and 2 days, one day they're at Stonehaven at Glade, and finish up on the Cobb, I think, at Glade. And it's really a great thing. Great thing for golf, and a great thing for the charity that's receiving the money. And it helps the economy. So some of these guys come in from out of state, and so they spend some money when they're in town. So good to have Ryan on there. And he had a good voice, good speaking voice too, And on our 19th episode, we had the Untrained Professionals back, the musical group, Clinton Scott and Chris Huddle. And man, these guys are a lot of fun. At this time, when they came back, they were really busy working 4 or 5 nights a week, but they were good enough to come back and see us, and we had a good time talking some questions. They sang a couple songs for us, and they were awarded the Podcast Music Group of the Month, and that was the first time the podcast has done that. And these guys were really overwhelmed with appreciation and emotion, and got a picture on our Facebook page. Check them out, and you'll get to see their trophy. These guys are so we'll get those guys back. Bernard Balsick came back on the 20th episode and helped us out, and he and Diane and we talked about our dads, and we didn't want to make it sad or anything like that, but we talked about what great guys they were, and told some funny stories. And one thing I'd kind of like to add, I kind of told how my dad was gambled and liked to gamble and those kind of things, and he did, but he never neglected his duties and obligations. He paid his bills. He worked, never missed a day's work, always worked, and built a lot of houses around the area. And he was a good fellow. He just liked to gamble a little bit. And I just wanted to reiterate that. And on our 21st episode, we had I was telling some funny happenings. Most of them involved dogs, and several people would contact me, especially like the one where I put the collar on and stepped across the electric dog fence to show my wife it wouldn't hurt our puppies, and it gave me a bolt of lightning that I still won't forget. And several people had heard the story before and said they still laugh about it. But and then the last thing we told about was I think when my son Jeremy wrote his first sentence on the wall of his brother's bedroom. But it was all fun and good sports. Our 22nd episode was actually the weekend of the Gibo golf tournament. And Andy Lawson, a friend of mine, they call him AC, came from Kentucky, and he Retro Valley, Kentucky, and to play in the golf tournament with his son Matt. And Andy also had been in the drama and acting. He'd been hunting rock and curtain callers back in the day, and was quite accomplished at it. Had got a degree in drama from WVU, and then he went to Atlanta, went to Washington D.C. area, then went to Atlanta, see if he could get famous and make some money. And during that time, he realized he was going to starve to death if he didn't get some other profession. So he ended up getting a law degree and using that law degree until he had retired, but mainly in corporate law. And it was really nice talking to Eddie. And one of the things that was kind of funny, he and I are the same age, and I asked him, what was one of the things he was grateful for when he was growing up, and he said it was the freedom that he had. Because when we were kids, and the world was different, but when we were kids, you walked out of the house and really your parents didn't really know where you were most of the time, and they would get concerned if you wouldn't get back at a certain time. But we were kind of free to roam and go about anywhere we wanted to, and you didn't have all the worries that people have nowadays. And maybe sometimes you think maybe the kids are a little too sheltered, but it's just a different world out there now, and it's hard to argue. But the freedom that we had when we were growing up was something that he was very grateful for, and glad to hear him. And hope he comes back, because he's got a lot more stories to tell, I'm sure. On the 23rd episode, Diane and I talked about our wedding that we had when we got married 51 years ago, and some of the simple things that took place, and some of the things that didn't take place. But it was kind of fun. Also listed the 10 songs that you don't want to play at a wedding, and we went from 10th to 1st, and the number one song that you don't want to play at a wedding or at the reception is Divorce by Tammy Wynette. I don't think that would be really big on the wedding song list, I don't think. All in fun. Then on our 24th episode, we were in Ocean Isle, North Carolina, and we were at the Tipsy Turtle Beach House, owned by Dave and Kim Bryan of Beckley. And it's a beautiful place they have within short walking distance of the ocean. Got a pool right there behind them, and we've been going down there several years and enjoying their hospitality. And we had so we decided to do a podcast. And we had a lot of people wanted to get involved. We had about eight people, and so I only took one microphone, so it was kind of a little difficult to hear some of the people. And then a few of them kind of clammed up on us, but we had a good time. Everybody got to be. My grandson Chase did a lot of the talking and learned a little bit about some of the things he did or was interested in. But I gave mainly just some crazy, ridiculous stories and questions, and everybody reacted. Great time. But that concluded our with the recaps. That's concluded our first 6 months with the podcast, and so we're going to make additions. Check us out on Facebook, and we'll ask some questions, have some surveys, and get you involved if you're interested in being on the podcast. Everybody's got a story, and we're not constricted to just one particular theme. We will listen to what you got. But get in contact. I'd like to hear from you. And remember, though, until next time, you can contact me at awbennett50@gmail.com, and love to hear from you, or on Facebook. Hopefully we'll have an Instagram sometime in the near future. But until then, remember, if you're not dead yet, you're not done yet, and see you next week.